Pet Sematary is a 1989 supernatural Thanksgiving-ish horror movie where truck drivers never get complained on for speeding, and grief from bad parenting will make you dig up your dead child for zombie reanimation. In a movie with the tagline,
But sometimes that is better.
"If the parents had even the slightest bit of parenting skills, everyone would still be alive, which is always better." The movie opens with Lewis, a doctor, uprooting his family from Chicago to their new home in Maine next to a road where careless big rig racing truck drivers play NASCAR. Dr. Husband's wife, Rachel, loves their new house, and apparently this is the first time she's ever seen it. Their tiny, almost weightless daughter Ellie breaks this tire swing rope and slightly gets hurt while carelessly two-parenting this one child. Their newly walking son, baby Gage, wanders onto the big rig racetrack and is nearly crushed by foreshadowing when their new neighbor, Judd Munster, grabs him up out of the evil road. The family discovers a path that leads from their house to a place Judd says,
Yeah, that's a good story. A good walk. I'll take you up there sometime.
That night, Dr. Husband is unsettled about that path for no reason at all when he's terrified by his daughter's dumb cat, Church, because Stephen King needed a jump scare. Judd and Dr. Husband share a beer watching the racetrack and discuss the unsettling path which Judge says leads to Pet Sematary. Judd blames the road as if it's alive and says,
There's that damn road. Uses up a lot of animals.
Telling Dr. Husband to get his daughter's cat neutered so he doesn't wander off into the road. Apparently, if you're a nutless cat, the road is the last place you'd want to cross. Dr. Husband's wife, Rachel, and weird house cleaner, Missy, have this awkward exchange about stomach pains as Missy tries her best Judd Munster impression.
Guess I'll never be lucky. Hell, I ain't married to anyone.
Judd takes the family down the path to Pet Sematary where all the children who ever lived in that town buried their pets, including Judd himself. Judd says it's a good place where children learn about death, even though it's a place built by hundreds of broken-hearted children who buried their dead pets. Judd scares Ellie by telling her this graveyard isn't scary, but is a place where the dead speak, which definitely would scare a small child. We then get punched in the face with an ominous foreshadowing shot with rustling and whistling through this creepy-looking brush. That night, Ellie gets mad at God for not killing her cat, who is still alive, saying,
He's not God's cat, he's my cat. But God gets on if he wants one.
The next morning at breakfast, out of the blue, Ellie says,
I don't want Church to get his nuts cut, Daddy.
Dr. Daddy Husband tells Ellie the road is a lot more dangerous than any operation. This movie is so hard up in making you think if your nuts are cut off, you have no desire to cross the street. You could also just pick up the phone to the local sheriff and ask him to set up some extra patrols on your road to try and slow down these race trucks so none of your kids get run over. This dead guy with a massive head wound got hit by a truck and is brought into the university hospital to be seen by Dr. Husband. He tells his staff to get an ambulance there quick, even though head wound dead dude has been dead for quite a while. Dr. Husband begins to have a weird conversation with this dead dude when he sits up gargling and starts talking about philosophical gardening.
Soil of a man's heart is still here.
And then calls Dr. Husband by his name even though they've never met. Before dying again, head wound dead dude says,
I'll come to you.
That night, Dr. Husband, who sleeps in his scrubs for some reason, is woken up by head wound dead dude telling him they have places to go. Dr. Husband, who freaked out like this at being jump scared by a cat, and like this when head wound dead dude first woke up, has zero reaction when woken up by now head wound haunter appearing in his bedroom. Dr. Husband does what we all would do and follows Head Wound Haunter down the creepy, now dark path to Pet Sematary. Head Wound Haunter warns Dr. Husband not to go somewhere he didn't even know existed, pointing to a place beyond Pet Sematary where he's not supposed to go, which lights up for him for no reason at all. He tells him the ground is sour, that the barrier's not meant to be crossed, and not to go to the place where the dead walk, all while standing in a place where the dead supposedly talk. Dr. Husband wakes up in his bed, unsure if it was a dream, when he realizes it was real, and he crapped the bed. Back at work, Dr. Husband takes one last look at Head Wound Haunter's medical file and throws it away. No, he literally throws it in the trash. It's now Thanksgiving, a family holiday. Rachel and the kids are going to celebrate with her parents in Chicago, but Dr. Husband stays home because they all hate his terrible acting. Judd rings up Dr. Husband, who tells him Nutless church cat got hit by a truck. Dr. Husband risks his life to cross the racetrack to give the cat an extensive doctor exam.
Yep, that church all right.
Judd asks Dr. Husband what he's going to do with the Nutless church cat, as if he didn't introduce them to a pet cemetery just feet from where they're standing. Dr. Husband explains he's going to bury the cat in the morning and tell little Ellie he hasn't seen it. Judd tells him,
Maybe there's a better way.
The two walk to Pet Sematary, and Dr. Husband asks,
Do we plant him on the outside of the circle, or do we start a new one?
Judd tells him,
Place we're going is on the other side of that.
pointing through the brush exactly where Head Wound Haunter told him not to go. The two are on their way when they hear what is obviously not a loon. Whatever kind of bird that is.
Just a loon, that's all.
Maybe a Wendigo loon. The treacherous terrain around this beautiful home in Maine goes from dirt, brush, massive tree roots, ridiculously giant stones, to a Micmac Indian burial ground. Judd tells Dr. Husband that he brought him here to bury Ellie's nutless cat because he has his reasons. Although he's told the soil here is thin, Dr. Husband has trouble breaking the ground, but eventually buries Church Cat. Later that night, Judd tells Dr. Husband not to mention one word about burying Nutless Church Cat to the family. Dr. Husband asks,
What did we do tonight, Judd?
Quick recap, Doctor. You walk down a path through a creepy pet cemetery to climb through thick brush. Hike up giant pyramid-like stones to a cursed Indian burial ground your bedroom ghost told you not to go so you could bury your daughter's dead pet. Yep, that makes perfect sense. Judd repeats the phrase, the soil of a man's heart is stonier, and Dr. Husband remembers the warning he got from Head Wound Haunter, the only ghost to ever haunt him and give him this warning. Dr. Husband calls Ellie and tells her Church Cat is fine and that he hasn't seen him. The next day, after barely raking any of these leaves, Dr. Husband quits and is scared by Nutless Micmac Church Devil Cat and can't believe he's alive. Micmac Church Devil Cat slaps him for having his nuts cut off and then runs away. Judd explains to Dr. Husband the story of how he found out about the burial place and should have already known not to bury Church Cat up there. When Judd's dog Spot died, he took him to the burial ground. Only the dog that came back wasn't Spot. Judd tells Dr. Husband he helped him bury Ellie's cat up there because he didn't feel Ellie, a little girl he only met a few weeks ago, wasn't ready for her favorite pet to die, and with time, she would learn what death really is. During Judd's story, he said that when Spot came back, he died later that same night. So he helped bring back a cat that might still die again before Ellie gets back from Thanksgiving in Chicago, so she could have more time to process death. This really makes no sense. Dr. Husband asks if anyone ever buried a person up there, and Judd gets all nervous and fumbly. Dr. Husband takes a bath and Nutless Micmac Devil Cat throws a dead rat at him. The next day, the family comes home where Ellie tells Dr. Husband she had a dream where Church Cat got hit by a race truck and was buried in Pet Sematary. That night, Ellie complains about Nutless Micmac Devil Cat's smell, and Dr. Husband doesn't have the sense to tell his daughter her pet is a scary devil zombie cat. House cleaner Missy writes a letter about having stomach cancer and hangs herself in a basement somewhere so Stephen King himself can cameo her funeral. Ellie and Dr. Daddy have a conversation about heaven, which makes Wifey Rachel cry. Wifey Rachel doesn't like talking about death because when she was a child, her parents left her with her very sick sister, who she wished would just die. Springtime rolls around with the family and Judd having a nice, beautiful day when the foreshadowing from earlier comes back to kick us all in our no-no feels. Even though there are 3 adults watching 2 kids, even with one sitting down at a table, little baby Gage still somehow wanders into the street and gets mowed down by a race truck, even though the driver is clearly looking at the road. Dr. Husband channels his outer David Hasselhoff and belches out this slow-motion scream. At the funeral, wifey Rachel's dad blows a gasket next to dead baby Gage's casket and Mike Tyson's Dr. Husband. That night, Judd tells Dr. Husband he lied and a person was once buried in the Micmac Indian grounds. Judd says a local man named Timmy Baderman was killed and his grief-struck father buried him beyond Pet Sematary. Judd tells Dr. Husband that the truth is,
But sometimes that is better.
Judd says the person you put in the ground beyond Pet Sematary isn't the person who comes back and isn't human at all. Judd and the townsfolk went to Timmy's house and set it on fire, killing Timmy and his father. Judd again restates that dead is better before telling Dr. Husband not to bury dead baby Gage beyond Pet Sematary. Wifey Rachel and little Ellie fly to Chicago with her parents, leaving Dr. Husband again home alone. Dr. Husband discreetly goes to unbury dead baby Gage in a graveyard in broad daylight. Head wound haunter appears to Dr. Husband and gives him the same warning. Dr. Husband has a very awkward emotional breakdown, saying if dead baby Gage comes back as zombie Timmy Baderman, he will just put him back to sleep. Head wound haunter tells little Ellie in a dream Dr. Husband is going to do something stupid. Little Ellie asks wifey Rachel to call and make sure Dr. Husband is okay. Head wound haunter stalks wifey Rachel to help her understand little Ellie's warning. Wifey Rachel calls, but Dr. Husband doesn't answer. Rachel's mom thinks men who are left at home by themselves give in to their cravings for hamburgers and chicken dinners and are too irresponsible to answer phones while doing so. Wifey Rachel calls Judd and says she can't reach Dr. Husband, so she's coming home. Turns out Dr. Husband is better at digging holes than raking leaves, because now it's dark at the cemetery and Dr. Husband is digging up dead baby Gage when a cop stops by. But instead of acknowledging what he's clearly looking at, he just leaves. Dr. Husband takes this as his sign to continue with his plan of digging up dead baby Gage and burying him beyond Pet Sematary. Meanwhile, wifey Rachel, on an airplane next to Head Wound Haunter, has this very creepy dream of her hated dead sister who says,
I'm coming for you, Rachel.
Dr. Husband and dead baby Gage walk the path to go beyond Pet Sematary to the Micmac Indian burial ground, where there's apparently a foggy rave going on. Dr. Husband buries dead baby Gage under a pile of rocks and goes back home. 3-year-old dead baby Gage comes back to life and with his dead baby hands steals Dr. Husband's scalpel from his medical bag. Judd wakes up to see little baby shoe prints on the floor and realizes dead baby Gage has come back to play. Judd gets distracted by Micmac Devil Cat and dead baby Gage slices his Achilles tendon. Judd, a grown man, has difficulty fighting a dead 3-year-old. His mouth is sliced and dead baby Gage eats his throat, killing him. Wifey Rachel arrives home and immediately hears her dead sister and dead son's voices coming from Judd's house. Micmac Devil Church Cat squeals, scaring her, and she's mildly shocked at seeing her daughter's dead cat alive and creepy. Rachel goes upstairs looking for Judd when she hears her dead sister creepily saying her name. She opens the door to the most horrifying character in this movie, her hated dead sister screaming at her. Her dead sister turns into dead baby Gage, and she opens her eyes to see a creepy feminine dead baby Gage dressed like her dead sister coming toward her. Even though this should definitely be the scariest thing she's ever seen, instead of running and living, she goes to hug dead baby Gage and dies. Dr. Husband hears his wife scream, which wakes him up so hard he smashes his head against this table. He sees muddy shoe prints on the floor leading to his doctor bag and realizes his scalpel is gone. Dead baby Gage laughs and Dr. Husband finds more mini shoe prints. The phone rings and Dr. Husband hears dead baby Gage, who can now use the phone for some reason, telling him he's over at Judd's house. Dead baby Gage tells him first he played with Judd and then he played with Mommy. Dr. Husband asks dead baby Gage,
What did you do?
and dead baby Gage giggles. Dr. Husband uses his bad acting face and morphine shots to kill Micmac Church Devil Cat. Dr. Husband should win an Oscar for his amazing acting skills.
Be dead!
Crazy Dr. Husband walks in Judd's house, which has now been decorated in this weird crap by a dead 3-year-old. Dr. Husband goes upstairs and hears dead baby Gage say he wants to play with the morphine needles, and luckily Dr. Husband has some handy. Dr. Husband finds dead Judd Munster under the bed. As he walks down the hall, dead wifey Rachel falls from the ceiling. Dead baby Gage jumps onto Dr. Husband, biting his hand and knocking the syringe away. Dead baby Gage gives Dr. Husband a taste of his own scalpel medicine, and then Dr. Husband fights this doll before throwing it onto the floor. Dead baby Gage gets up and slowly walks toward Dr. Husband, growling until he's jabbed in the neck with a deadly amount of morphine. Even though he's dead, little cutie pie dead baby Gage says,
No fair.
as he walks around the corner where he dies again. Dr. Husband decides that since he can't explain the killing of his whole family and his neighbor, he just burns his neighbor's house to the ground. Even though he just killed his evil zombie son, Dr. Husband grabs up dead wifey Rachel to take her to the place beyond Pet Sematary so she can come back. That night, Dr. Husband sits down in his kitchen to play solitaire when dead wifey Rachel straggles through the door, looking like this, even though she was buried only a few hours ago. The movie ends with the two having an ooey-gooey kiss when she grabs the world's largest kitchen knife that's laying on the table for some reason, and Dr. Husband screams, dying off camera. That's the last we see of Pet Sematary until this sequel in 1992, where they forego big rig race trucks and an evil road for shooting dogs because they interrupt your sexy time.